Hey there, seekers of tangible results.
Welcome to the No Nonsense Zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason.
I'm Emma, your unapologetically real spiritual guide.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo. We just deliver the raw kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results that you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world. Hello. This is Emma Romano and the magnificent
Jason Parks.
Hi, we're here from Soul Aligned Results. This is our very first podcast. And guess what? It's going to be so juicy. First off, let me introduce us. I'm Emma Romano. I'm a teacher, trainer, mentor, really funny mum. I just thought I'd put that funny bit in there. Mum, wife, daughter, auntie, niece, all the things, loving life and been through a lot of shit and here just to really inspire and just help out and keeping it real. Jason, give us 5 seconds about you, my friend.
I'm an energetic therapist and spiritual mentor. I husband, father, 2 daughters, beautiful girls. And exactly the same. We're here because we're interested in people's practice and we're interested in getting results for them.
Yeah, I think this is what we're really about. So I met Jason 2 years ago, and actually I think it was the 22nd of February 22 that I first messaged you. Something like that. It was the 22nd of the 2nd, 22. Oh my God. And I'd heard about this guy, Jason. He was referred to me. I was looking for a mentor because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be very straight here. And to all the people who've mentored, I'm pretty much talking about you. I've had really shit mentors. Really some really crappy mentors. I probably had one that was okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. The rest have been full of crap, full of bullshit. I paid them 40,000, 50,000, 30,000. I paid 20. I paid a lot of freaking money, and I just feel I got sucked into the grandiosis of their flashy words and flashy promises. And very quickly you see what's behind the curtain. You see what's behind the wizard's curtain, and you find it's all bullshit. So I started, working in this field in 2000 and I think around 15, 16. And organically, I've always been very authentic. And what I mean by authentic is I've always gone with my gut feeling. And whenever I've not gone with my gut feeling, shit has gone wrong. And when I don't trust myself, I've looked for a mentor to come and rescue me. And it's been a shit show. And I've always gone for the wrong mentor, except for one. One was really good. And then I found out about Jason. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to figure out who this guy is. And Jason, actually, you weren't mentoring me back then. We were just having sessions for energetic sessions because my son and I, we do a lot of energy work together. I've been doing energy work for a long time. And I needed advice. I wanted to know if I was doing it right. I wanted to know if I was being protected, if I was okay. And so Jason was doing one-to-one sessions with me. And then he kind of, you created a mentoring for me, because I'm like, I actually want, I want something more. I want something juicier. I want something better, because I was getting such massive results, just one session here, one session there with you. And I'm like, imagine if we just sat on a call every week, what the results would be for me. So we started that, I don't know, maybe 18 months ago, you reckon?
About that.
Yeah, probably. And I just keep signing up. So Jason has probably been the person that I've signed up with and had the most tangible results and the quickest results and the no bullshit results. And I'm going to tell people, and those who don't know me, I have a big energy, and it takes a certain person be able to actually hold my energy, and not many people can do it. People will say they can, Like, Emma, I've got you. Yeah, I can help you. I can do this. I can do. They can't. What they're really trying to do is they're trying to put me into their box of what they think business should look like, life should look like. But that's from their perspective. That's not from mine. And I was always taken off my course. And all of a sudden, I'd be struggling in business and struggling in my own life. That never happened when I signed up with you, Jason. So for the last 18 months, we kind of had this epiphany that we probably should be marrying up our businesses and working together for people, you know, for the collective. And so now this is what we do. We do mentoring together. We run big retreats all over the world together. Well, all over the world. We've got one in Victoria that sold out in 3 days. We've got one in Bali. I think that's only got 3 more spots. Like, it goes crazy. And then we do master classes together that are very accessible for everybody. And then we thought, what else can we do? Let's do podcasts. I mean, they're free.
That's right.
So you guys have got no excuses.
Yeah, exactly right.
You get us in your ears, and you can watch us on video here as well. So on YouTube and everywhere. Today, we're going to talk about mentoring specifically, because I think this is a place where, especially oh God, I'm not going to say especially people starting. I'm going to say anyone looking for a mentor, looking for people. So actually, Jason came up with a good name of this: kissing frogs.
Yeah.
Jason, do you want to have a little chat about kissing frogs?
Kissing frogs. I don't know how common that is outside of Australia, but I think most Australians understand that saying, which is that you've got to kiss a few frogs before you find a prince.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to spiritual work, I think one of the hardest things is that when we start, and it continues on in various ways, but really at the beginning, there's a point, like, everybody gets into this work because at some point it hits the fan, and then
Yeah.
you have an epiphany, and you just go, wait a minute, there's got to be more to life than this, and there's more to me than this. And
Mm.
often we start looking for, particularly if we've had some sort of spiritual experience that can't be explained in mundane terms, and we just go, wait, there's something bigger there, and we start looking, and we start reading books, and we start, doing all the things.
Mm.
And one of the things that happens often is that, like, the heart starts to open, and we start to get this sense of, oh, it's like a bliss trip. It's like, oh my God, everything's just so lovely and it's wonderful. And I'm reading books, and I've seen crystals, and I've bought, some singing bowls, and I just feel like it's all really good. And I can't wait to meet the people that do this. And it's a shit show. Is that
Yeah.
the problem with the spiritual community is that it's not really aware of what it is. It's a whole heap of people trying to get their shit together. And by
Mm.
definition, they haven't got their shit together. So,
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? Not everyone's completely got their shit together. There's a part that upsets me around, especially mentors in this business,
yeah,
is the gaslighting,
absolutely. Yeah,
and the bullshit.
yeah,
Because I've like, there's archetypes, and I just think that I just kind of assumed, especially when I came into this space. I mean, I came into this space, from illness, coming away from an illness. I had MS, and
yeah,
I had multiple sclerosis. I had chronic fatigue, celiac. I had a lot of things going on. I was blind in my left eye from optic neuritis. And then I went into this spiritual practice and healed myself, and it was great. And I'm searching and searching and searching for people. And I think I just assumed everyone was like me, as in, no bullshit. If I don't
yeah,
know the answer, I'll send you the person who does. I've got you as much as I can. I don't have all the answers, and let's explore it together.
yeah,
It's not the case. You get these people who go, I know everything. I've got a direct link to this angel, this spirit guide, this thing. You're like, cool. Well, let's go. I'm a newborn in your hands right now. And you know what? It's the sad thing is, it's harder to find the good eggs it's hard to find. It's hard to find the prince and the princesses. You find a lot. You find a lot of freaking frogs.
And you find some toads telling you that they're
Oh,
frogs that are actually princes. So
yeah,
yeah, those frigging toads.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I remember one mentor. Like I paid her a lot of money, and this is where Jason ended up being my mentor, because I was just looking for somebody who I could 100% freaking trust. And let me explain my mentoring with Jason. Jason doesn't mentor me just like you mentor me in life,
Yeah,
in my spiritual practice. It's everything. It's not just business. It's not just money. My relationships, it's everything. It's great. But you also see my husband and my two kids.
yeah,
Jason sees the whole family. There are no secrets. There's no secrets in our family. Everyone knows everything. But there was one particular mentor that I had, and I'm sure people who are in this can relate to this. She sold me on a dream. I was like, I just went for it. I was like, yes. She had all the big words. She had the razzle dazzle. She had everything. It was amazing. Whack, take my $40,000, I said. And then I found out that she was, snorting cocaine on weekends. And, Jack and I went to one of her retreats, and she kept disappearing from the retreats. And Jason remembered it was one of the
yeah,
most horrible experiences that I've ever had. And I was with my son, Jack. And it was a business mentoring retreat, a business retreat. And she kept disappearing. And then she told me and about 4 other people in the room that she was having sex with her girlfriend in the other room, while she was
mm,
supposed to be in the room with us, teaching us how to work around, getting more customers, money, whatever it might have been.
yeah,
And then she actually sexually assaulted me in front of a room of 10, at a table of 10 people. And it was just what got me about that. And Jason, you said this to me. It was a space of ownership. I've given her the $40,000, and she thought she owned me,
yeah,
and she
yeah.
could literally do what she wanted with me. I was like a rag doll to her. And it's about ethics, isn't it? It's about being ethical.
Ethics are everything.
Ethics
Yeah.
are freaking everything. Do you want to have a quick chat just about what your take on ethics is? Because you're so
Oh,
good at this. So I just threw you
you just threw me straight in it, but
straight
that's
in the
great.
shit then.
Yeah, yeah, but that's our relationship. So,
Yes, it's true.
so ethics. When I talk about ethics, I talk about it as something very different to morals. Morals are coming from an external authority. So in morals, it's like, and it's usually about don't do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like don't do this, don't do that, don't eat this, don't wear that, don't talk to this person, don't use language in this way, don't act in that way. And it's coming from an external authority. And there's a place for that. Like if you don't know where to go, that's a map.
Yeah.
That's a map. Yeah. So it's good. But once you start walking around a little bit, you get a lay of the land. You really got to be able to get into ethics. Now, what ethics are, see, the actions that we take and the thoughts that we think and how we feel about them, and so forth, all that is about a vibration. And at any vibrational range, there's things that are available there that are not available to other frequencies. So if I'm doing spiritual work and I want to have the benefits of spiritual practice that sit at this level, what I can't do is I can't act in a way that is at the level down here. So I can't be at a point. Um, I don't want to drag through that example, but it's a really good one, the one you just gave, is
No,
that
use it.
yeah, you can't sit there and go, I'm a spiritual mentor, and then act like you're some sort of sex offender.
A
If
100%.
that's it, and what you get is you get sex offender lifestyle, you don't
Mm-hmm.
get spiritual mentor lifestyle.
Yeah.
So ethics are really about, keeping it real. To use
Yes.
that term, that
Yeah.
it's like you got to walk your talk. It's not, it's about
Exactly.
who you are. Spiritual practice is about who you are. It's not
It's
about
not what you
shit that you
know.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree
exactly
with
right.
you. 100%. It's who you are. It's your daily practice. It's what are you actioning? How are you
Yeah,
handling things? And can I just say, right, there is I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but I want to talk about this for a second. I feel people rate their success on how much money they've got, how many clients they've got, what books they've got out there.
yeah,
I I would, if I was somebody listening to this, have a rethink about how you're, only if you want to, but have a rethink about how you want to judge your success. That's how I was judging my success, right? So I
yeah.
used to judge my success. How many clients have I got a week? How much money am I making? Blah, blah, blah. And when it was all external things like that, that's when I was an alcoholic.
Mm, yeah,
I've been sober for over 4 years now. And so I wasn't a raging alcoholic. I was drinking a bottle of wine a night. For those who are like, oh my gosh, she's an alcoholic. It was a bottle of wine a night was bad enough. So what I was doing was I was going to oblivion because
yeah,
everything was external to me. I had to have living proof, like, am I client? How many clients have I got? It was all money, monetary. That's how I was doing my business, and it's not the way to do it. Then I became, hang on, how am I handling situations? Am I happier today than I was yesterday? Because if you get 20 clients a week, they could be the worst 20 clients ever. You could be
yeah,
having 5 clients a week and having the best clients ever, charging more money and having more results. So it's not
yeah,
about the amount of money or the amount of clients you're doing. It's these little tangible things that happen. Like yesterday, I got massively triggered. It was Valentine's Day yesterday. I got massively triggered by someone in my family, an external person in my family. And it was not about what they said or about them. Usually I would have flown and gone, oh, you said this to me, whatever. I was like, whoa, this is a childhood thing coming up for me. And I was able to process it, allow myself to have that feeling, be okay sitting in that feeling, not looking for the oblivion,
mm,
and go, I'm okay. Obviously, little Emma needs a little moment here, and that's okay. And by the time I drove home, I was much better and I was okay. And then I could also ask my husband, like, babe, this is what I need from you tonight to like just to help my nervous system. And it was like, yeah, babe, I'm here for you. Whereas 8 years ago, Emma would have coped with that very, very differently.
yeah, yeah,
I feel for me that is a great rate of success.
yeah,
That's a better
yeah,
way of success, which then leads into the ethics of how you deal with your clients and how you deal with other people and mentor other people as well.
yeah. That's it.
Because what we're doing is we're doing what we're asking our clients to do.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly right.
that's ethics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So there's no difference in that. It's interesting. We got made a bit of a list. I got a list of a couple of lists for you.
Go for it.
So I'll put them
You
in
have
there.
a
So
chat and talk the list off. Go for it.
yeah, well, let's start with the negatives. All right.
Sure.
Let's start with the negatives. These are some of the key things you need to be concerned about with spiritual mentors. Right. Now, the thing about mentoring, like we're talking about, one-to-one mentoring, but the thing about mentoring is if I pick up a book, that the person that wrote that book in that moment I'm studying that book, they're my mentor.
100%.
So, if I'm watching a video, whatever it is, video, I'm watching a recording or listening to a podcast. So they're my mentor in that moment. So it's really important to understand that. And I think it's like, and particularly with things like books and that, so life's too short for shit books.
Oh,
So
I agree.
it doesn't matter. If you start reading it and it's not doing it for you, just put it away.
Chuck
So
it.
sometimes those books they're above you.
Mm-hmm.
They're above you. And you'll know it when you hit it because you're just kind of like, oh, my brain is frying, just trying to think about it. And I've had that where I've read books and I've like, I don't understand it. I put it away. And then like 5, 6 years later, I go back and I just go, oh, this is cool. I'm just flicking through it. And it's like a comic. And you just go,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. So
Yeah, because you're in the
different.
different frequency of it. You're then
That's
ready
right.
for it, or you've gone beyond it. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly right. So, but if there's other ones where it's just not for you. I said, just get rid of them. Don't persist. I said,
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason why there's so many parts. And it's kind of the fundamental. So one of the big things ethically you're going to find is that a spiritual mentor that's not good is about them.
Mm.
It said everything's about them. And it's like that, you've paid money and a lot of money to sit in a room with a mentor and they're out having a shag in the room next door. And then
Yeah.
they come back and tell you, it's like not only am I ripping you off, but I'm also doing this. Oh, and I've got no ethics. So that's what they're telling you. So it's just like,
Oh.
yeah, of course. So you'll see it if you're looking for it. But the main thing is like, first of all, there's so many narcissists
Mm,
in spiritual practice. And
mm,
because they're narcissists, they immediately put themselves in mentoring positions
yeah.
because they think that they know how it all works. So one of the reasons you're going to find a lot of them is because it's easy for them to hide their gaslighting in jargon. They can use
Mm-hmm.
big spiritual words. We were having a joke about this the other day, and we were saying like, we could play a game where we throw narcissistic comments at each other and see who gets triggered first.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one of the things that comes up is like twin flames, right?
Oh, bleh.
You can't leave me because
I
we're
can't
twin
deal. I
flames.
can't deal. I can't deal with the words twin flames.
No, no, me neither. Yeah, and I say that, and that's not, a lot of people are affected by that, and it's not to belittle what people go through with that. So, but
No, not at all.
as therapists in different disciplines, the harm that belief has and all of the crap that's attached to it is that even if we say it's completely true, is that it's still so treacherous to go anywhere near it. It's like if a person's a twin flame, that's okay. The universe will move them around and put them where they need to be, and we can have that relationship. Let's just look at the relationship and don't worry about the external significance. So you get a lot of that crap goes on,
Can
right?
I
Which
can
they're
I
going to
just
hide
put
it.
my two bobs worth in about the
Please,
twin
please.
flames, please? So this is why twin flame talk is is very damaging to a relationship. Let me explain to the people listening. I am a relationship, predominantly, mostly a relationship coach, right? I have, and I mean relationships in everything. So when the people, especially spiritual people, come in with twin flames, when you got a twin flame, you got to think, I think it was Zeus, wasn't it, who had humans had two heads, four arms, four legs, whatever. And they were very, very powerful, and they're more powerful than the gods. So he split them in half. They're the two souls. That's why they're called the twin flames. And he separated them and then to come together. They are polar opposites of each other. So if one's codependent, the other one will be a retreater, right? They kind of chase each other. When you sit there and say, I'm with my twin flame, if that relationship goes, now you got to get this. If you're in a twin flame relationship, if you have a belief system that's a twin flame relationship, you believe that relationship, there is no other for you. And no matter what, this is it. And then people will go into fantasy. So fantasy is make believe. Make believe is anything that tomorrow is a fantasy. Within 5 minutes, it's a fantasy, right? We're
Yeah,
not there. So it is make believe. So if I sit there and go, I'm going to have a cup of tea at 10 o'clock, that's a fantasy because it's not happening right now. These people who believe in twin flames will go into this thing and all of a sudden we're going to save the world together. We're going to do this spiritual practice together. We're going to do this together. And there's all of a sudden this massive expectation on this twin flame unity. This twin flame unity is still very grounded in three-dimensional earth. Got to pay the bills, got to do the mortgage, got to feed the kids, got to drive the car, put petrol in the car, right? They kind of come out of that reality and go into fantasy land. And then if the relationship goes sour, it doesn't just go sour, it has to literally rip apart because mostly the fantasy that your brain has created, that is death.
yeah, absolutely.
So these couples will either stay together, it'll be the most horrendous downfall, and often one, are you ready for it? will go into a kundalini, like, what do you call it? Like a like a psychotic
Yeah,
breakdown.
Kundalini syndrome. Yeah,
So Kundalini syndrome. It will go to a psychosis of a sort, like
yeah,
downfall, like that. Like one of them will be called schizophrenic or whatever it might be. It is so damaging. So those people who go, we're in a twin flame. Or, sorry, another one is, I've met my twin flame, but he doesn't even really know I'm here.
mm,
We've had sex a few times, but I'm just going to wait for him. How long's it been? 15 years, right? It's so damaging.
yeah,
It's so damaging. And this is my advice to people who feel that they're in a twin flame relationship. Great, good on you. Bring it back to the basics. Enjoy your relationship, enjoy each other. Don't give your relationship a job of having to save the world, having to do this, we're going to do that. Come back, step back, just enjoy the moment.
yeah,
Don't get
absolutely.
married, don't get engaged, don't have a baby within the first year. I'm actually going to say the first 2 years, because mostly people who think they're in a twin flame relationship, bang, they want to have babies within a month. They want to get married. They'll be engaged within 3 months.
Yeah,
And then there's a massive fall down,
yeah,
because people who think they're in a twin flame relationship can be quite grandiose about it. And like, look what we've got, look what we've got. Really, what it is, you're addicted to the dopamine hits that's hitting in your chest, because you're both talking each other's love languages for the first few months, and
yeah.
it's like nothing you've ever felt before. So that's my 2 bubs worth. People aren't going to like what I've just said there, but
No, no,
you have to
but
suck it up,
that's
buttercup, because it's going
well,
to
that's
hurt.
what. Well, yes. Unfortunately, there'll be more of this to come.
Yes, I know.
That's
We do
that's what we
trip.
want to do.
We should call it this, Jason Emma, the triggers.
The triggers. So that's
The
it.
trigger podcast.
Oh well, I got another two triggering points for you. So here
Here
we
we go.
go.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So one of the other things about it is they're not about results.
Mm.
If you've got a person who's like a spiritual mentor and they're talking to you about how everything feels, said this is a problem. Said
Yeah.
spiritual practice is about tangible results. The
Mm-hmm.
shit gets better. You get better. Opportunity comes to you. Your relationships get better. They said that's what should be happening. If that's not happening, it's like, well, maybe we're not doing it right. So the other thing too is that there's ethical conflicts, and you mentioned that with the other mentor. But yeah, usually sex and drugs. I I hear a lot nowadays. I hear a lot about people. It's like, oh, they're so spiritual. They're so awakened. They're constantly telling me that I don't understand because I'm not realized enough, and I really feel bad about it. But I just hate the way that they're just always doing mushrooms and ice.
Yeah,
And as
yeah.
soon as they
Oh, I
say
do
ice, I'm just
mushrooms
like,
every Friday night, and I do ayahuasca. I've done ayahuasca 12 times. Why?
yeah, yeah, that's another podcast, that one. But
Okay, we need to do that one too.
yeah, that's another one. But
Okay.
but these are key points. This is what you get. And like we said, for your own practice, there's a principle called conscientious discipleship. And what that means is you as the student have the responsibility for being the student. And it's a two-way street.
Mm.
So, if I'm mentoring you or you're mentoring me in that moment, I have a job to shut up and listen, but also to consider, not to blindly accept. So if you're mentoring me, I'm like, okay, this is what Emma's telling me. I need to, first of all, run this against my logic, and it makes sense. And if it makes sense, it's like, okay, now I've got to run it against reality. And I start testing it.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
discernment, right?
exactly right. Discernment.
It's discernment. I think discernment's a really powerful word.
Yeah.
I kind of learned the word discernment last year. It was really good. I was running an event here at my house. I was teaching family freedom protocol, and Jack and I were doing the dragon medicine work. And one of the women, there was 3 women that were very, very Christian and very into the church. And they're like, this is the devil's work.
Mm.
And one of them said, Ash had seen it so many times. She goes, it's not. She goes, have your discernment.
Yeah.
Take the bits you like and have enough discernment. And she said, she goes, well, I have enough discernment to go, no, it actually works. It's like we were using the breath. It's God's work. We're doing all the things. She goes, it's actually discernment. She goes, you don't even know what it is, yet you've already judged it.
Exactly right.
She said, there's no discernment there. She goes, figure out what it is first. She said, and I said, that's exactly it. And it's exactly what Jason and I are saying here. Some of it you're going to go, oh, that's really cool. And others you're going to go say, no, that's shit. And whatever you think shit, throw it out.
That's right. Yeah.
Just chuck
That's
it.
exactly right.
Yeah, it's
Exactly right.
interesting. Okay, sorry. I keep interrupting your list. Go for it.
No, this is a conversation.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
It's a good
so
conversation.
yeah, so you see that like they're the things to sort of be on the lookout for. The other thing is, as much as possible, you want it in plain language.
Mm-hmm.
If a person, it doesn't matter what the field is, said if I'm explaining to you something, I taught martial arts for many years. So if I'm trying to explain something to you and you don't get it, that's a failure on the part of the teacher,
Mm.
right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
teacher's job is to explain it in a way that you get it.
Yep,
I
exactly.
remember it changed my life, and you and I have talked about this about education, like our experiences in the education system, and they weren't great. And
No.
I remember I was in my 30s and I read a book about, like, I was trying to teach myself how to learn. And I was reading this book and it read this line, and it just said, if you're reading a textbook and it's not making sense, get a new textbook. It's a
Yep.
shit textbook. And I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean that's a thing? And it's like, so a textbook's job is to explain it to you. If it's badly written, then you're not going to learn. So get another textbook. Is that you're there to learn. And it's exactly the same with mentoring, is that it's not about you spending time in the presence of a spiritually awakened being. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I have met awakened beings, and I can tell you, those people, they are down to earth. When they talk to you, it's boom.
Yeah.
And probably one of the most interesting, most common beings like that people have seen is anything with like the Dalai Lama.
Mm-hmm.
If you see the Dalai Lama speak about anything, you get it.
It's so true.
Yeah, he just talks and you get it. And it's
Yes.
yeah, well that's mastery.
I love that.
So so that's the thing. So yeah, getting caught up in all of that other, it's really important that you're discerning in your practice. Is that
I love that. I want to explain that a little bit further as well, because what's coming up for me is um if I'm explaining something to somebody and they don't understand, I'll go, right, I just pivot and you explain it a different way, and you'll explain
yeah,
it many different ways until they get it.
yeah,
At school, I was not academic. Like, I failed year 8 twice. Like, I repeated year 8, failed it twice, didn't do year 11 and 12. I did secretary of school and stuff. Didn't do very well at that either. But anyway, one of the things that if I was ever taught, I remember learning hypnotherapy, and there was something that I just did not understand. It was called disassociate and associate. I just couldn't get it. I don't know what it was. I was probably freaking out. I just did not understand these 2 words. And publicly in front of a group of 50 people, I was shamed. Well, Emma,
yeah,
do you not get it? And I went, no, I don't get it. Well, if you don't get it, that's a you problem.
hmm,
And I remember getting up and running out of the room. And that was 2015.
yeah. Wow.
I was 45. I wasn't 15 or 20 or 30. I was 45. And I went into complete shame, and that triggered complete trauma. And I just ran out and I was shamed.
Yeah,
And then I learned the next day I sat in there, and this woman came up to me and she goes, I'm going to explain what it means to you. And she drew a circle. She goes, this is associated. You're in the circle, aren't you? Yeah. She goes, you're associated inside the circle. I went, yeah. And then she goes, come out the circle. Now what do you do? I went, I'm looking at the circle. She goes, now you're disassociated from it. And I went, oh my God, that's so easy.
There it
You know,
is.
whereas I was crying, I didn't go
Oh
back to
yeah,
class, I was mortified, I was embarrassed, you know, I didn't know what to do. Oh, it was horrible. Because the
yeah,
teacher just didn't want to pivot, didn't want to say, they decided to shame me instead of going, I'll just explain it to you a different way.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And a good mentor will explain it 500 different ways for you to get it.
yeah. That's what
And
they're there for.
they'll just find a different way of explaining it to you, and they will never, ever, ever shame you about it. There you go. That's my two
Awesome.
bobs worth. Keep going. Sorry.
I love it. Well,
Oh,
I'm looking at the clock, and I'm thinking, shall we split this one in half?
I think we should split it in half.
Because
Let's split it in half.
that's a perfect thing to end on.
That is a perfect end of
Thank
thing.
you so much.
Oh my gosh. Guys, we this is our first podcast. We're going to be sending them out regularly, and it's just the sole purpose for our podcast is to keep it real and to get you tangible results. We've got a website called soulalignedresults.com, and we've got a Facebook group called Soul Aligned Results. Get in there, join the group. That's where you'll find all our podcasts, all our information. We've got master classes coming up all the time. Get involved, have a chat with us, put comments underneath. You'll find these everywhere. And if you want us to talk about something, private message me. I'm, Emma Romano on Facebook and Heal with
Yeah.
Emma Romano. Just email us. We would love to know what you would like to know about. We would love that. We're here for service. And Jason and I love hanging out. And, as you can tell, I love talking. So we'll see. We'll see you in part 2 of Kissing Frogs.
Thank you.